Howdy folks, Matt here with Gulf Coast Fit, and today I want to run through a little bit of foam rolling, a little bit of self-love and maintenance pertaining to the lower body. So I'm going to work downward, starting from closer to my trunk, around my hip flexors, glutes, and then work down the lower extremities. Foam rolling is like anything. There's a lot of different techniques, a lot of different approaches you can take, and there's a lot of different camps of thought. But at the end of the day, just like fitness, the main thing is to get into it, get some practice under your belt, and figure out what works best for you. So you can follow along with this while I do it. That'd be wonderful. And you can figure out how you need to move and how you need to address certain muscle groups or sticky spots in your body, be it muscle adhesions or super tight muscles or lactic acid buildup and soreness. So you know your body best, or you might discover what you need while you're foam rolling. I always like that approach, where you just go into something and you find what you need. So focusing on lower body, a little sip of coffee. Gus is spotting us. All right. Oh, I'm naked today because I forgot a shirt, but hope you forgive me. Like I said, I'm going to start up, work my way down the extremities. So I'm going to sit on here. I'm going to focus on the glute medius first, upper outside portion of my hips, of my butt. Now you see how I've got my leg crossed right now. That helps me stretch and lengthen the glute medius while I'm rolling it. You can also choose to not cross your leg. Just drape your butt. Again, the upper outside of your butt, lateral portion of your glutes. And it may or may not feel like you're getting more out of it when your leg is uncrossed. Or again, if you stretch it kind of in this externally rotated pigeon stretch type of position, maybe that gives you what you need. I do it both ways. I think it's always good to try different approaches, even to simple things like body work and foam rolling. Now typically I might spend, I'm not about to work out, so I might spend 2, 3, 5 minutes on any one muscle group and just keep it rolling slowly but surely for your video purposes, and just give it a little taste. I'm only gonna hit everything for maybe a minute with my internal timer. And you see how I'm kind of tilting, rotating sideways and leaning back, using my body as a little bit of a teeter-totter. That is part of the art of foam rolling. You want to learn how to relax over the foam roller. And when you're stiff, tight, sore, got muscle adhesions, or maybe Gus just gave you a little love tap, and I'll give you a little looky. Hopefully you don't fall out of the tripod like you normally do with me. Anyway, back on the glutes. Hopefully you just kept rolling through that. Sometimes I take it down to my elbow and then I uncross my leg and just allow my body to drape over the foam roller. And that's very important, that you're not contracting and engaging the muscles that you're addressing, because it kind of negates the massaging effect that you're going for. You're trying to flush out the muscles just like you're getting a massage. Well, you don't want to be tight and contracting those muscles while you're trying to knead them out like pizza dough. All right, next up, I'm gonna flip on over. I'm gonna focus on the deep hip adductors and internal rotators. So for this, I've got the foam roller parallel to my body, and I swing one leg up wide, kind of perpendicular to the foam roller. Let my body weight do the work here. And you see my other hip's kind of on the ground, and that's fine. You don't need your entire body weight on the foam roller. And I'm using my elbows and my grounded hip to roll myself back and forth. Oh yeah. And you notice how I'm not spanning the entire length of my leg like this, just addressing one component at a time. I'm gonna start in deep towards my internal rotators. Oh yeah. hip adductors, such as your gracilis, sartorius. Oh yeah, you gotta kind of find your teeter-totter motion. That way you're using your body weight and leverage to your advantage, which takes some time, and it is a bit of work, you know, when you're getting used to foam rolling, or even if you've been doing it for a while. You're manipulating your body weight, you're moving around in all different directions, and it is some work, but that's why efficiency comes in time, in good time. All right, bring my other leg out wide here. I'll tell what I'm doing. Can you? There we go. Now, breathing deep, steady diaphragmatic breaths is always very helpful. Helps you relax over the foam roller. Helps you work through potential pain that you're experiencing. And sometimes you want to run away from that pain. Sometimes it just makes you bite your lip and brings a tear to your eye. And that's not uncommon, but that tells you that you're getting something out of it. You know, if you really hit a muscle group and it doesn't tell you anything, feels perfectly fine, it's not that you're not getting any benefit out of it, but you kind of have the green light to move on, so to speak. All right, so I'm gonna go back to my glutes. Focused on the upper outer kind of glute medius area previously. Now I'm gonna focus on the glute maximus. So for me personally, I like to just sit my body in the middle of the foam roller, legs straight, lean back. I go back and forth on one side at a time. Trying to just let my weight of my leg drag on the ground, putting as much limp weight, disengaged musculature on top of the foam roller. Since the glutes are so big and thick, they have a lot of surface space and a lot of squish to them. So you want to make sure you're really using your weight to your advantage here, because since they are so big and there's a lot of surface space, foam rolling sometimes is not super direct. It takes some relaxation, some practice, and figuring out how to move on the foam roller for you specifically to feel like you're penetrating and deep and reaching deeper, less superficial layers of your musculature. So I'm over on my left side now. And you see how I'm not just rolling really quick. I'm not seesawing and teeter-tottering rapidly. That's also a bit counterproductive. Can cause your muscles to tense up, contract, which again kind of negates what you're going for here. We want slow, steady rolls. And you also, let's move along and I'll touch base on this point. So now I'm going to switch back to the front side. I like to complement things front, back, or side to side, side to side. We focused on the deep adductors close to the inside of my hip. Now I'm going to focus on the outside. There's a lot of overlapping muscles at any given time that you're going to be addressing. And right now, oh yeah, what I'm focusing on is my TFL, tensor fascia lata. Sounds like a fancy drink. It's kind of a fancy muscle. Some people might say I'm rolling my IT band right now, and I do kind of drift down into the superior insertion point of my IT band. IT band runs along the side of your leg. There's definitely some strong camps of thought about foam rolling your IT band. I think it can be a good thing if it's appropriate for you. Some people's IT band, iliotibial band, super tight, and it kind of pulls your kneecap out of alignment, pulls your knees out of alignment with your toes, can radiate up and give you some hip discomfort. Then go for it, give it a try, see if it works for you. But just like anything, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Right now, I'm focusing on rolling the space right between my iliac crest, my love handles, and right below that to right over my hip bone. That's why I kind of venture into the upper insertion point of my IT band. But really, this is the area I'm going for. It's like my hip crease extended. And you see, for me, I really have to get down, put my entire body weight on it. I've been foam rolling for a long time. I'll use a PVC pipe or a lacrosse ball a lot of the time. And so I need all of my body weight to penetrate. And I'm used to relaxing over it. I don't recoil and contract. So for starters, you might have a foot on the ground, hands on the ground, and just alleviate and lessen some of your body weight and the pressure by pushing into the ground, giving you a little assistance. I'm gonna switch to the other side. Now really laying sideways, perpendicular to the foam roller, perpendicular to the ground to get my TFL. And since it is a smaller area, sometimes I do rock a little bit quicker, not super fast. Also, one point I was going to make is you don't necessarily have to be rolling the entire time. You might stay on a certain spot. You feel yourself go over a little speed bump, a muscle adhesion, a knot, or just a really tender area. Stop, relax, take a few long breaths, and let your body drape over the foam roller a little bit more. Let your muscles just melt over it, and that penetration might actually be more beneficial for you than actually moving and rolling if you're tightening up and your breath becomes shortened and you're getting a little bit frantic with it. We don't want to just try to get through it. We want to get the most out of it, get the biggest bang for your buck with your time and energy you're investing. You can also, and this goes for any muscle group, you can hit it cross-sectionally. You don't have to go up and down the length of the muscle. Different camps of thought on this, but in my opinion, everything has validity, and it's just you figuring out how you need to approach something for your specific needs. So you see, now I'm rolling in a more global manner, more horizontally over my TFL, kind of venturing into my psoas musculature, hip flexors in the front side and the anterior. So rolling back and forth can again help flush out your muscles from a different direction. It's like we need dough in different directions. Well, I'm the dough boy, and I need to be squished out all over the place. All right, so I might spend 2 or 3 times longer on any of these when I'm foam rolling by myself, or if I've only got 5 minutes, maybe I'll spend 30 seconds on something. Or cherry pick if you're to that point. You don't want to cherry pick things that you're good at or that feel good. Cherry pick things that you get the most benefit out of. But even if you only have 5, 7, 10 minutes, then hopping on the foam roller and putting it to work, it adds up. There's a cumulative effect with consistency, just like in all facets of fitness. So I'm going to come around and focus on a bit of the inner part of my quadriceps, my vastus medialis, also known as the teardrop muscle. The teardrop muscle is appropriately named because it makes you want to cry a little bit. I'm actually hitting my vastus medialis, that teardrop portion of my quadriceps, along with some internal rotators and adductors. Oh, you've got adductors such as the adductor brevis, adductor longus. Ooh, it's like I'm pulling college classroom knowledge out of my head. I should research a little more before I turn on the video, but ooh, we're good. Again, gracilis and sartorius run. They kind of make X's and go across and have a lot to do with internal and external rotation and adduction. And I think they deserve a lot of love. Get that teardrop muscle, vastus medialis. That's a very abbreviated version of what I would normally do there. No, Gus, where are you going? There he goes, off to do his own thing. Yep, he stopped. He's got to keep me within sight, so he ain't going far. Ooh, this side is very necessary for me. So I am going to shut up and breathe. Notice how I'm going nice and slow, because I really need it on this side. And you see how I have to kind of shift around as I'm exploring what I need. You're not always going to stay put in a pretty fashion on your mat when you're foam rolling. Shift and move and finagle yourself around as you kind of feel the right feels, and you discover how your body and your leverages work to your advantage. All right, so we're going to go to the hamstrings now. Hamstrings are kind of tricky. Hamstrings are tricky because they take up a lot of surface space. It's hard to penetrate and feel like you're getting a deep effect if that's what you're going for. And it's also a little bit of work because you potentially have to, I like to go one hamstring at a time, one side, one leg at a time. I'm hitting hamstrings on my right side right now. You see, I have to kind of pick my body up and support myself so I can put more weight on the foam roller. So it is a fair amount of work. My upper body, shoulders, arms are being put to good use right now. Oh yeah, rolling right over the biceps femoris. And that biceps femoris are like your biceps in your upper extremity. They flex your knees just like your biceps in your arms flex your arms. And I need a little more, so I'm gonna cross my leg. Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, oh. Making noises doesn't help, so again, I'm gonna shut up and breathe. Ooh, I'm gonna kind of change positions. Want to hit all the hamstrings, biceps femoris, semimembranosus, semitendinosus. Kind of going into the gracilis again right now. So figuring out how to effectively hit hamstrings is an art in and of itself. It only happens with practice, and you're gonna feel like you're doing it wrong until you're doing it right, but you're still gonna be getting benefit no matter what. Let's go and hit this left side. Make a long, slow roll spanning the entire length of my hammies right now. I think that's the best way for me to go on hamstrings. But again, if you find a sticky spot, if I roll outward a little bit, I know I'm gonna have a sticky spot right there. And you might stay there, might even stop there. And again, maybe you roll cross-sectionally and start rotating from side to side, helping to work out a little speed bump you've discovered. Apologize for having my butt all up in the camera. Censor that. Just kidding, whatever. Kind of challenging for me to stay relaxed. I just had to keep reminding myself to let my hammies drape over the foam roller. That's pretty good. Let's flip on to the anterior. Hot coffee on a hot day. You drink iced coffee, then you're weird. Coffee's supposed to be hot, even if it's 100 degrees out. All right, so moving on to the quadriceps. I like to do quads a lot of different ways. I like to do both at the same time. I have a kind of a stubby short foam roller right now, so it's a little bit more challenging to do certain double two-sided quadricep positions, working both legs simultaneously, but go ahead and start that way. So I'm gonna have to bring my legs all the way together with my short stubby foam roller. Toes together, feet together. I'm just rolling straight over the top of my thighs. And when I'm rolling the quadriceps, hey bub, thank you for not knocking the camera over. When I'm rolling over the quadriceps, I like to get a bonus stretch, and I'll show you how. Right now I'm all the way down by my kneecaps, and I'm rolling up my thighs, and I'm gonna drop my chest to the ground, and I get a real nice lat stretch, thoracic extension stretch, even triceps and posterior delts. So that's kind of like a bonus spinal extension stretch. And when you take it all the way to that stretch, you're also ensuring that you get a nice long roll all the way down those quadriceps. So what I also like to do is externally rotate my legs, going outward. This focuses then on the medial portion of the quads, and that allows me to get a deeper penetration, because you can see, oh yeah, with my feet externally rotated, focusing on the medial portion of my quadriceps, ooh, then the edge of the foam roller digs in. And you can kind of take it a little bit further, because you can roll all the way to the inside of your kneecap, really getting the entire portion of your vastus medialis. And this is where you'll find out why it's known as the teardrop muscle. It's actually shaped like a teardrop too. So it's twofold. Shaped like a teardrop, makes you create teardrops, and it is very appropriately named, and I love it. All right, on the flip side, you can focus on internal rotation. That way you're rolling more of the lateral portion of your quadriceps. Now, I'm not rolling my T-band. I'm kind of angled down about 45 degrees, so I'm hitting the outside sweep of my thigh here. And I venture up very close to my psoas muscles, to my hip flexors. I like to hit the psoas muscles separate. I'll do that after the quads. Vastus lateralis, that's what we're focusing on right now. Just working on breathing, staying steady, draping over the foam roller, letting my body weight do the work, relaxing as much as possible. Which is easier said than done sometimes. Kayakers having fun out here. All right, let's see if you can see what I'm doing. Outside portion, hit my right side now. I'm only gonna go 5 reps. I count a rep as rolling up and down. Normally, again, I probably go 20 reps. I like to count reps when I'm rolling. But I'm gonna keep us moving along. Now I'm gonna focus on the calves. Calves can be a little bit tricky as well. because it does take some work. You got to hold your body weight up, support yourself while you're figuring out how to move and address what your target is. So gastrocnemius, back of your lower extremity here. You've got medial and lateral gastrocs. And I'm going to start, I like to do one leg at a time. I'm going to start just going over the center of my calves. Now, if this is just not, if this is too strenuous to pick your body weight up, you can put yourself down. You just have to use the weight of one leg to press down and flex your knee a little bit. Just make sure you're not pushing down with the bottom leg, because if you're pushing down with the bottom leg, then you're engaging the bottom leg, and it's going to take away from what you're going for a little bit. Roll out. The lateral gastrocnemius. Go to the inside, medial portion. And you notice how I'm staying up high. I'm not going all the way down towards my heel or my Achilles tendon. That is for me, I like to separate the upper and lower part of my lower extremity. That way, I know exactly what I'm addressing. I'm going to go and switch sides here. I'm going to pick myself up for this side. Ooh, it's tight out here. So I'm going to put my butt back down and just use, try not to flash my butt at you, just use my leg weight to get the outside. My left side, my calves and my tibials, my peroneals get tight from shifting so much. And so that's just part of being mindful about your life, what it entails and what your life does to your body. I'm driving in a truck, shifting the clutch, always using the left side, and I notice how much tighter my left leg, IT band, calf, shins, feet get from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps of shifting and clutching. It's like doing a lightweight leg extension, and over time that adds up. So I address that. When I'm working out, sometimes I hit the right leg for an extra set if I'm doing step-ups or lunges, or if I'm on the foam roller, I give my left side some extra love. Get the inside real quick. I'm gonna go down. Oh yeah. See, and again, you can find different ways to stay productive. And I'm setting myself down and just shift. I'm using my hip and my shoulder to shift my entire body and roll over that foam roller. Feels pretty good. Now I'm going to move down to the soleus. Soleus runs underneath your calves, closer to your heel, attach with you, insert with your Achilles tendon, and that's why I really separate the two, because now I know, and I'm going to do both at the same time, because I feel like it's effective for me to do both at the same time. And you can do it one at a time and cross it for more intensity. That's certainly effective, but I'm getting plenty out of doing both together. And here I kind of go out, get the peroneals outside of my shins, basically inside, focusing on the soleus, peroneals, small ankle stabilizers that help with ankle inversion and eversion, flexion and extension. And you'd be surprised how when the very lower part of your lower extremities are tight, it radiates up and it can affect everything up the kinetic chain. All right, I'm going to focus on the tibials now, tibialis anterior, the muscles that oppose and complement my calves. And I think this is huge. I think this is something that you should not skip when you're doing the lower body. And there's a multitude of ways to get into this. And you'll see right now, as long as you're focusing on the outside, kind of outside front side of your shin, and that's what we're going for. The inside of your shin is just your shin bone, not much there to roll. So this is really the outside. And so I bend and extend my knee to get the work done. If I want more intensity, then I'll go and put more body weight on there, but I am working harder again. Sometimes it feels like you're doing a workout just by foam rolling. I'm definitely gonna spend some extra time here when I'm done with you, but let's go ahead and switch. Kind of feels like I'm doing pikes, like I'm getting an ab workout too. It's nature of the beast. Let's see, I did skip doing the actual IT band. And again, there's different trains of thought, different camps here, but I'm a fan of not skipping anything. And sometimes you just have to remember too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So the idea with your iliotibial band is some people think when you roll it, which may have some truth, if you roll it too much, then it becomes lax, because that is connective tissue. It's not really a muscle. Although I am certainly rolling muscles right now. I'm still getting my hamstrings and the lateral portion of my quads while I'm addressing my IT band, which I'm going from the side of my knee all the way up to the side of my hip bone. For me, it's very helpful. I'm doing a lot of stand-up paddle boarding, skating, clutching, and just on my feet all day in the sand a lot. So my IT band gets really tight. All right, I'm gonna switch sides. Again, very abbreviated version. And sometimes I'll slow it down, slow my roll. 5 long seconds one direction. A little lat stretch as I drop to the ground here. 5 long seconds down to the inferior portion, which means below, inferior portion of my IT band, all the way up to the superior portion, which means above, and back down. All right, now certainly more we can address with lower body or different approaches and techniques. Maybe that's another video. Let's leave with something else I skipped. Hitting your psoas muscles right in your hip crease. Similar to the TFL that we addressed earlier, but instead of out here, it's more in here in the anterior portion of your hip crease. And so sometimes you might get your whole body weight on here. I get my entire body weight on the psoas, and that does me justice. But you might just, switch sides here, you might just drape yourself over it, keep your upper body on the ground, and it might give you enough pressure to get what you need. Every day is different, every body is different, everyone's life is different. So this is just a template. Now if I'm training with you, we'll dial it in and we will address things exactly how you need. But for video purposes, this is plenty for you. Just follow along, give it a go. Right, watch the video over and over and over again until you figure out, oh, if I move that way, it gives me a little bit more. Oh, I need to put my marbles on this area a little bit more. So that's just a very general sweep through the lower body. And I know this took me 30 minutes, but you go get a massage for 60 or 90 or 2 hours. Hopefully you do. If you don't, then maybe time to start working on your body a little more. This is just one way to massage your body. This is also a great tool to discover how your body is affected by whatever your training modality is or what your recreational activities do to your body. And when it comes to staying in the game, staying on top of your game, and being able to have fun and rule at life for the long run, then taking care of your body, be it with foam rollers or lacrosse balls, different forms of myofascial release, gua sha tools, going to get massages, percussion instruments and guns. There are many tools. They all work and building up your repertoire is a good thing. So give the foam roller a try. And I really am a big fan of the foam roller because it's a very low barrier of entry. Anyone can buy a foam roller, 15, 20 bucks. It's gonna last you forever. And you can get right to it and try it anytime, whether you have a minute or a half hour. So hopefully this video helped you out a little bit. We'll say bye to Gus. He's just doing his scratchy thing over there. And I'll catch you next time.